A father's stand. The fight for justice in Oakwood. The September sun hung low over Oakwood, California, casting long shadows across the quiet streets of a middle-class neighborhood. In a modest two-story home, 14-year-old Marcus Thompson pulled a red hoodie over his head, his basketball shoes squeaking against the hardwood floor. Downstairs, his father, Nathan Thompson, 42, diced onions with the precision of a man who'd spent 18 years in Marine Force Recon. A retired war hero with 3 Purple Hearts and a Silver Star tucked away in a drawer, Nathan had traded combat zones for a quiet life as a security consultant. But nothing could prepare him for the battle about to unfold on his own streets, a battle that would shake a city, expose a broken system, and test the limits of a father's restraint. What happens when a decorated veteran watches his son become a victim of the very system meant to protect him? Nathan's hands moved with practiced efficiency, the knife slicing through vegetables as he prepared breakfast for Marcus. At 6 feet 2 inches, his imposing frame softened only when he looked at his son, the center of his world since his wife, Clara, lost her battle with cancer 2 years ago. Over omelets, Nathan drilled Marcus on the rules he'd taught him since childhood. Keep your hands visible. Speak calmly. Move slowly. Announce your intentions. Marcus, wise beyond his 14 years, nodded. He knew these weren't just words, they were survival tactics for a black teenager in America. As they cleared the dishes, Marcus mentioned his school project on racial profiling and policing. Nathan's jaw tightened, memories of his own youth flooding back. 23 police stops by age 18, each one a reminder of the world's suspicion. A knock at the door interrupted them. Mrs. Jenkins, their elderly neighbor, warned of heightened police patrols targeting black teens in hoodies. Nathan thanked her, his face unreadable, and suggested Marcus swap his hoodie for his school basketball jacket. Marcus grumbled but complied. They climbed into Nathan's sedan, driving halfway to school, as usual. Marcus walked the final blocks, his backpack bouncing, unaware that 2 officers in a patrol car had already marked him. Officer Daniel Carter, a 12-year veteran with a trail of excessive force complaints, drummed his fingers on the steering wheel. His partner, 29-year-old James Larson, scrolled through reports, uneasy with Carter's predatory focus. The morning briefing had mentioned a convenience store robbery, a vague suspect description. Black male, teenager, red hoodie. Carter scoffed, muttering it could be any kid in East Oakwood. Spotting Marcus, his eyes narrowed. That's our guy, he said, flipping on the cruiser's lights. Larson hesitated but stayed silent, bound by the unspoken code of loyalty. Marcus froze as the cruiser's lights flashed behind him. His heart raced, but he turned slowly, hands visible, just as Nathan had taught. Carter approached, hand on his holster, voice sharp. Where you coming from? Got ID. Marcus explained he was walking home from basketball practice, gesturing toward the gym 2 blocks away. Carter cut him off, stepping into his space, demanding to know if he'd been near the robbery site. Confusion crossed Marcus's face. He had been home with Nathan all night. Carter took his silence as guilt, grabbing Marcus's wrist and twisting it. Stop resisting, he barked, though Marcus hadn't moved. Larson, lingering by the cruiser, spotted a basketball in Marcus's backpack but said nothing. Marcus asked to call his dad, reaching slowly for his pocket. Carter's reaction was swift, slammed Marcus against a brick wall, the rough surface scraping his cheek. Pain shot through Marcus's shoulder as Carter wrenched his arm back. At that moment, Nathan turned the corner, having decided to pick Marcus up early. The sight of his son pinned against a wall stopped him cold. Every combat instinct screamed, but he approached with measured steps, hands raised. I'm his father, he called, voice steady. Carter barely glanced at him, ordering him to stay back. The street grew tense. Neighbors gathered, phones out, recording. Carter ignored Larson's suggestion to check Marcus's ID, instead cuffing Marcus so tightly the metal bit into his wrists. Marcus's voice cracked, pleading he'd done nothing wrong. Carter, enraged by the defiance, unholstered his taser. Nathan stepped forward, his tone calm but firm. I'm a retired Marine, sir. My son is 14 and unarmed. Lower your weapon. Carter sneered. What military? The Boy Scouts. The racial undertone hung heavy. Larson, holding Marcus's basketball ID, finally spoke. Dan, this checks out. He's a student. Carter ignored him, his ego locked in. Marcus, terrified, shifted slightly in his cuffs. It was enough for Carter. The taser fired, 50,000 volts surging through Marcus's body. He collapsed, his head striking the pavement with a sickening thud. Blood trickled from his temple. The crowd gasped, shouts rising. Carter knelt, pressing his knee into Marcus's back, oblivious to the pooling blood. Nathan's civilian facade shattered. His posture shifted balanced, coiled, the stance of a man who'd neutralized warlords. His voice cut through the chaos. "Take your knee off my son's neck. Now." Carter faltered, uncertainty flickering. Larson, chilled by Nathan's transformation, urged Carter to call for medical help. Captain Robert Ellis arrived, recognizing Nathan from his reservist days with Senator Michael Bradley, Nathan's former commander. Ellis ordered Carter to uncuff Marcus and remove the taser barbs. Paramedics rushed Marcus to Oakwood General, Nathan by his side, his calm masking a father's fury. The crowd's videos went viral, sparking outrage. News vans descended, headlines blaring. Black teen tased while walking home, son of war hero. At the hospital, doctors diagnosed Marcus with a concussion and taser burns. The deeper wounds were psychological hypervigilance, nightmares, signs of trauma mirroring Nathan's own PTSD. Nathan didn't sleep, instead activating his military network. Calls to Senator Bradley and civil rights attorney Laura Hayes set a plan in motion. Commissioner Patricia Lang, a reform-minded leader, suspended Carter, seizing his badge and gun. Larson, shaken, confessed to Lang about Carter's history of targeting black teens and Captain Morgan's role in burying complaints. The community rallied. Protests swelled outside the hospital, signs demanding justice. Marcus's classmates shared their own stories of police harassment, their voices amplifying the call for change. Senator Bradley arrived, ensuring the case wouldn't fade. Internal Affairs uncovered Carter's pattern 8 complaints involving black teens, for with tasers, all dismissed by Morgan. Morgan resigned in disgrace as evidence of his cover-up surfaced. Larson, facing threats from colleagues, testified against Carter, breaking the blue wall. Laura Hayes filed a class action lawsuit, uniting families wronged by Carter. Nathan joined the Civilian Oversight Board, his military precision reshaping it into a force for accountability. Marcus, inspired by his mother's activism, started a youth program fostering dialogue between teens and police. His trauma-fueled purpose, his eloquence drawing national attention. Congressional hearings followed, with Marcus and Nathan testifying. Marcus's words, "I did everything right, but the rules were different for me," struck a chord. The Thompson Accountability Act passed, mandating national standards for police conduct. Carter pleaded guilty to excessive force, sentenced to 18 months in prison and barred from law enforcement. He was ordered to speak at police academies about his failures, a condition Nathan requested. The Oakwood Police Department, under Lang's leadership, adopted Nathan's de-escalation training, rooted in military discipline. Marcus, now 15, set his sights on a legal career, his basketball dreams intertwined with a commitment to justice reform. The Clara Thompson Foundation, honoring his mother, supported victims of police misconduct, turning pain into action. A year later, Nathan and Marcus stood before a class of police recruits, sharing their story. Marcus's account silenced the room, while Nathan's practical guidance reshaped how officers viewed their role. The stars above Oakwood, barely visible through city lights, bore witness to their victory not just for themselves, but for a system forced to change. Justice wasn't perfect, but it was real, forged by a father's love and a son's courage. What would you do if you saw injustice unfold before your eyes? Could you stand up to authority, like Larson eventually did, or would fear hold you back? Have you ever witnessed violence or unfairness and wished you'd acted differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's debate how we can confront bias and build a fairer world. Your voice matters.